Huh. Unless those of you who are going to watch this video have been under some rock and in some cave somewhere, or just recently beamed in from some parallel universe, I'm sorry, you know what took place a few days ago. One of God's holy workers, an upright, forthright man of God, a husband and a dad to two beautiful children, was ripped from this planet. Not taken, ripped. There's a difference. Why? Because that person that ripped him from us espoused different beliefs than Charlie did. But you see, that's just part of the issue that we have here in this country. Okay? He was ripped from us, doing what he does the very best. I've never seen anybody do it quite like him. Nobody's as good as him on the debate stage. He does it with tact, with class, with respect. He never puts the person down. But he also is no doormat either. If you're going to get out of hand, he will have you removed. Common sense, logic. Okay? His name is Charlie, not Matt, as in doormat. His beloved wife, Erica. Ooh. Whoa. I have never heard a widow come out with anything as powerful as she did in my entire year, in my 56 short years on this planet. No woman has ever spoken with such fire and determination and grit in the midst of her anguish. And she alluded to it several times, especially when her little baby girl asked, "Where is her daddy?" Ooh. Oh. Whoa. And she said, "What do you say to that?" Yeah. I'm a dad myself. My son is 17. Ooh. I wouldn't know what to say. And I don't know what his... Ooh. Wow. But I liked what she said. She laid down a challenge, rather, to us all. Not just those in the Turning Point USA movement, but to everybody who knew and loved her husband. To go forth and to pick up and to do what is right. Not what we say or he says is right, but what he says is right. Yes, because Charlie was a man of God, a devout, firm believer in the Lord. He was martyred because of that. Do you see? That's the reason why he was martyred, because the enemy knew he would be beaten on the debate stage. So they shut his mouth. But there's one thing, I like what she said. You know, that woman had some powerful things said a lot of powerful things. And one of them, struck a huge chord with this former sailor. You have no idea what you have just unleashed on this country and on the world. Yeah, that's what she said, verbatim. You can look it up. And she said this widow's cries will be her battle cry. Hoo-yah, ma'am, yes. The problem here, though, I want to get to something that has not been, only maybe one of few, I don't know, I only know if one other person has uploaded a video about this, about what I'm about to say. People out there, there have been the media pundits that have alluded to this. Folks, words have meaning. Okay? For the last decade and a half or more, we have heard, those of us in the who are conservative, who are MAGA, now MAGA conservative, whatever, have been labeled the following: fascists, Hitler, called Trump Hitler, the Gestapo, you know, I'm a conservative, yeah, but I'm insulted by that for a lot of reasons. For instance, I take it really, really personally. I'm of ethnic Jewish descent, you scum. On my dad's side, a Norwegian Jew. On my mom's side, Polish Jew. If my maternal grandmother doesn't leave Poland like she did when that knothead was getting ready to rattle his saber and goose step all over the friggin' place, I'm not here. Same on my father's side. And I dare think, I will bet the rest of my Social Security disability allotments on this, that I had family on both my father's and my mother's side who were victims of the Holocaust in Norway, Poland, and the Ukraine. I will not be surprised if I didn't. So you scum who are calling all of us conservative fascists, you've labeled me as one. How dare you? Yeah, I am angry. Rightfully so. As an ethnic Jew, over 6 million of my cousins were exterminated in the ovens. And 7 million more who are non-Jewish were also killed by the Nazis. Hell, a generation of men and women stood tall and stared down that face of evil and beat it back. Not just in Europe, but also in the Pacific. Because the Japanese made the freaking SS look like freaking Boy Scouts. And you dare to call me a fucking fascist, you scumbags? Yeah, I am angry. You have stirred an anger in this sailor like you never should have. And you deserve my anger. You deserve nothing less. I stood tall for this nation. 21 August 1987, Fort Hamilton up in Brooklyn, swore my oath of enlistment in front of an Air Force captain with 150 other men and women to uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And I will obey all orders of the President of the United States and all officers appointed over me, and all the articles of the UCMJ. So help me God! How dare you? How dare you? Go to hell! Here's the other thing. By you labeling us as fascists, calling him Hitler, calling the ICE agents the Gestapo, you're lucky I am not unhinged. Because if I was unhinged, I would be coming for every last one of you scum. But I am not, because you're not worth it. You're not worth my energy to want to rip your hearts out through your asses. I'll let my God deal with you. I'll let him bring down the righteous wrath of his indignation upon your heads. You deserve nothing less. I'll let him square you away in his way, because he knows better than I. Your words have direct effect, okay? I point to what happened to Steve Scalise in 2017 on the softball field. Don't you think that all that rhetoric that was being spouted by you leftists and you Democrat idiots had an effect on that shooter? Huh? Don't you think? You poop-faced moron from California. You know who you are, Miss Waters. All of you in Congress, in the media, and you other pundits and you other blowhards. You're throwing those labels around. You know not the truth behind them. I challenge all of you, especially you, Sandy Cortez. And you Missouri carpetbagger, fake eyelash hair and wig wearing brat from Missouri. Crooked, wannabe gangster. You ain't gangster, honey. You were born with a silver spoon wedged in that coochie of yours. Please, if you're a gangster, then I'm fucking Malcolm X, okay? Watch a newsreel from that era. Especially of when the U.S. Army went into the death camps in Germany. What they saw. Yeah. The Third Army, the First Army, under Patton and Bradley. Yeah. Take a look at that. Okay? Take a look at when they opened the doors of those ovens. Take a look at the pile of shoes and all those, and the gold and silver teeth that they literally ripped out of the mouths. And take a look at the brands. Yeah, that's their numbers that were tattooed into their forearms. Okay? Go take a look at the early days of when Hitler and Mussolini rose to power. Mussolini in the 20s and Hitler later. Okay? Go watch the rallies at Nuremberg, the book burnings that took place. Yeah? The very first book that was burned was the Bible. Yeah. Go look at the reports. Go look at what had happened of Kristallnacht, the night of the broken glass. Yeah. Read up on that. Watch the newsreels from that era. And also, a little bit of side trivia here. The movie Casablanca, starring Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Claude Rains, Paul Henreich, Conrad Veidt, Sidney Greenstreet, Peter Lorre. You know what that movie was about? A man, an American, an expatriate, who fought on the side, who fought against the fascists in Italy, in Ethiopia, and fought against Franco in Spain. Not allowed to go back to the United States. So he He has a cafe called Cafe Americain. All right? The premise of that movie was people were fleeing occupied Europe, making their way to the only place that's left. You could go to England, obviously, because they're at war. The only other place they could go, the United States or Canada. Yeah. The last bastion of hope, America. Fact, one scene in there, Humphrey Bogart, a little intoxicated because he ran into Ingrid Bergman's character. That's a whole love story thing. He asks the piano player, a man by the name of Sam, he says, "What time is it in America?" He says, "I bet they're all sleeping in America right now." Not literally. Little note. In there, Paul Henreid, who plays Victor Laszlo, a Czech patriot, who the Nazis have been after because he was telling the truth about them. Okay? He asked the band to play La Marseillaise while the Germans were singing their national anthem. La Marseillaise is the French national anthem, written in 1798 during the French Revolution. Those men were inspired by our revolution. Okay? Why is that so important? I'll tell you why. Everybody in that set, everybody outside the main actors and the supporting actors, everyone else in that movie, on that set, was from occupied Europe. And they did a close-up of a French woman who was crying, as her country's national anthem was being sung and played. Those were her actual tears because she fled occupied France months before from Paris. Paris was her hometown. She was the last member of that cast of Casablanca to die in 2012. I bring that up because you see it's important. That was the darkest time, that was the darkest days on the world when we were this close to what Sir Winston Churchill called the new dark age of Nazi tyranny. And you're going to call us conservatives fascists. You're going to call the ICE Gestapo. You're going to call Trump Hitler. You scum have no idea what you are doing. Because what you're saying has an impact on those who are unhinged, who are mentally not capable of grasping that you don't mean, that you don't know what you're saying. You're full of it. They can actually think that you are real about it. And they can think, of course, they may have had family who fought against the Nazis. What do you think that person's going to do? He's going to want to put a bullet in that person. And that's exactly what happened. I'm calling on you, Mr. President, and you, Madam Attorney General Pam Bondi, to look into this. Okay? They cannot hide behind the First Amendment. Okay? By calling us fascists and Nazis or whatever. And say, oh, our hands are we don't have dirty hands. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Mr. President, Madam Attorney General, Mr. Kash Patel, Mr. Dan Bongino, you need to look into this. Because their words have actual meaning and have an effect on what has happened. Charlie Kirk's blood cries out for this. Do what is right, please.